Welcome back to the Daily Poem here on the Close Reads Podcast Network. I'm David Kern. Today is Good Friday, at least for the Western tradition it is, for the Western Church. The Eastern Church's Good Friday is next week. But I wanted to read a Good Friday poem to you this week. And I'm going to read one from Christina Rossetti. She lived from 1830 to 1894. She was an English poet. You've heard from her on this show before. She wrote a variety of romantic, devotional, and even children's poems, and as well as Christmas carols, such as In the Bleak Midwinter, which was later set to music. And the poem that I'm going to read to you today is called Good Friday. This is how it goes. Am I a stone and not a sheep, that I can stand, O Christ, beneath thy cross, to number, drop by drop, thy blood's slow loss, and yet not weep? Not so those women loved who with exceeding grief lamented thee. Not so fallen Peter, weeping bitterly. Not so the thief was moved. Not so the sun and moon, which hid their faces in a starless sky, a horror of great darkness at broad noon. I, only I. Yet give not o'er, but seek thy sheep, true shepherd of the flock. Greater than Moses, turn and look once more and smite a rock. So if we look at the scenario in this poem, the poet is saying, unlike Mary, unlike Peter, unlike the criminal up on the thief up on the cross, she can look at the cross and know the power of what's going on there. But despite that, she has this. It doesn't move her to tears. She regrets this. She regrets that even the sun and the moon can have this physical response, and in her she feels, it seems, this sense of cold. I don't want to say despair or anything like that, and I don't know that it's doubt, but there is, of course, at times that feeling of spiritual coldness, where you don't feel what you feel like you're supposed to feel. And this is a poem where she turns to Christ on the cross and she says, despite my doubt, despite the fact that I cannot muster the feelings that I know that I'm supposed to feel, even so, turn to me, take me under your shelter, bring me to you. The smiting of a rock is an interesting image. In some ways, it feels as if she's saying, smite me. And then, of course, I wonder if there's a correlation between the reference to Peter and the reference to the rock. But, this, what happened on the cross, Christ's work on the cross, makes it, I guess, so that our inability to feel something isn't the be-all and the end-all. Our inability to act in a certain way is not the be-all, end-all. Sometimes what we need to do is take action even when we don't feel like it, which of course is, Jesus, it's pretty clear, had his own fears, and yet he took action. So I'll read it one more time. This is Good Friday by Christina Rossetti. Am I a stone and not a sheep, that I can stand, O Christ, beneath thy cross, to number, drop by drop, thy blood's slow loss, and yet not weep? Not so those women loved who with exceeding grief lamented thee. Not so fallen Peter, weeping bitterly. Not so the thief was moved. Not so the sun and moon, which hid their faces in a starless sky, a horror of great darkness at broad noon. I, only I. Yet give not o'er, but seek thy sheep, true shepherd of the flock. Greater than Moses, turn and look once more, and smite a rock. This has been the Daily Poem. Thank you so much for listening, and happy Easter.